Right, today I'm going to do a little bit of work on the seats. Quite some time ago, a few years ago probably now, I refurbished the seats and the seat bases and the seat runners, put a little bit of hardware away to fit it all together, and at one stage I actually bought some new bottom seat runners. So I've mocked it up, with some masking tape as to the measurements of where they go. So I'll put the seat runners actually on the seat bases and fit them up there just to make sure I've got the measurements correct. And then I'll go about drilling some holes and mounting the runners onto the floor. The other bits of hardware I got, the bolts and these sort of a captive nut, I guess you could call it, which those spikes go up into the timber to hold them in position. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people just use the nuts and washers, but I think these are probably more original and should work quite well. So make sure that the work I've done there with measuring where the runners go is correct, and then I'll drill some holes and fit those up. Now we know that the upper seat runner, the adjustable one, goes to the outside, and the runner part also faces to the outside. Well, what I had to locate the seat frames was this location diagram. I think it was put out by Todd Clark, but I may have found it on Barney's site. Now I did use this to get a rough idea of where things went, but found that the actual measurements didn't line up with my seat frames very well. Now that may have been because the bottom frames may have been repaired and not made quite exact as to what they were. But anyway, I did basically find a starting point, which were these two rear points here, which were, I think, about 140 in from the back. So what I did was I assembled the bottom seat frames onto the runners and located them in on the floor on some markings that I'd put on with some masking tape, and got a bit of an idea, or a better idea, of where things needed to go from that. I wouldn't rely 100% on this diagram, and you could come to grief if you do, but it's a good starting point. So I ended up getting the frames in, and they've all located quite well. I think that's a bit out of focus. So they're in now. The adjusting mechanism is outboard on both sides, and this edge here runs parallel to the chassis, and the inside ones, as you can see, are angled in to get around the handbrake, and likewise on the other side, but no handbrake of course. So I've got those in, and we'll continue on with the next job.